Hello and Happy New Year. As the light is fading on the common, I want to welcome you to this new season of life groups. And today we are going to be thinking about what Jesus said when he said, "I am the vine." John 15 verse 5 says this, "I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." This week, some of us started a course called Practicing the Way, our discipleship course. It's all about following Jesus and growing in our faith and our walk with Jesus as a community together. The term that we use on our course for following Jesus is actually to be an apprentice, to recognise that we are training under Jesus, that we want to be like him. To apprentice under Jesus is to organise our whole life around three driving goals. The first is to be with Jesus, to abide with him. The second is to become like him. And the third is to do as he did. Our journey as a Christian can be summed up in these processes. And our church vision statement is similar. It says, well, our aim is to know Jesus and to make him known. And we'll do this more effectively when our priorities and our activities centre on being with Jesus, becoming like Jesus, and doing the things he does. So we're going to briefly look at the passage in John's Gospel where Jesus talks about being the vine.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean, because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourself to be my disciples.
Apprenticing under Jesus is so much more than a human apprenticeship would ever be. An apprentice working for, say, an electrician would spend time watching and learning from the master electrician, and then doing and practicing their knowledge and developing themselves. Over time, the aim is for them to be able to operate completely independently of the teacher. In contrast, when we apprentice under Jesus, we're not aiming for independence, but growing and deepening our relationship with him and trust with him. And as we become like him and do the things he does, we begin to operate like he did. Jesus said he only did what he saw the Father doing. He operated out of relationship, and we can do that too. We can be confident not in our own strength and abilities, but in his, as he works through us. But we're not passive. We're proactive in our goal of remaining in him and being resourced by him. We become like Jesus not simply through copying his external behaviour and practices, but by inviting his Holy Spirit to live in and through us day by day. An active choice. We learn to develop through watching and practicing And we're transformed from the inside out by the very presence of Jesus in our hearts and minds. Philippians 2:12-13 sums up this mystery of discipleship and transformation. Therefore, my dear friends, as you have always obeyed, not only in my presence, but now much more in my absence, continue to work out your salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in you to will and to act according to his good purpose. And Romans 12 puts it like this: Therefore, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Don't conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. What an honour and privilege to be united with Jesus, to be sitting at his feet and learning from him, to be able to share every moment, the ups and the downs, the highlights and the mundane moments with the one who created us, who saved us, who made a way for us to be united with him forever. To be standing on the common as the sun sets. Let's recommission ourselves at the beginning of 2025 to be living with him and for him. We know that Jesus is with us 24/7, wherever we are, and whoever we're with, he is there with us. He's promised never to leave us. Prioritizing Jesus' presence in our lives is about becoming more aware of him throughout our days and nights, the good times and the bad, and also about intentionally taking time out to spend with him, to focus specifically on him and having quality time with him, to abide with him, live with him during quiet moments and remain connected in the busyness of life. If you're like me, you may become more and more aware that we are connected with our phones throughout the day, through social media, WhatsApp messages, email, even the weather forecast, or our step count. Modern lives include so much connectivity that it can sometimes feel completely overwhelming, and we have to choose where to turn our attention. But as God's people, we have the ability to connect with a greater resource in the World Wide Web. We're seated in the heavenly places with Jesus, and we're able to connect with him at all times. So as we connect with God, let's consider the year ahead. Let's dream with God about what he wants to do among us and as a church together. God, what is on your heart for this year? What do you want us to do together to further your kingdom and bear fruit? In our homes, our marriages, workplaces, neighbourhoods, how do you want to grow us and transform us to be more like you?